Hello, you're watching NewsX with me, Riya Dwivedi. Now, the fire that tore through Birch by Romeo Lane, a restaurant cum nightclub in Goa, has left at least 25 people dead and several injured, marking one of the deadliest incidents in the state's nightlife circuit in recent years. What initially appeared to be a gas cylinder explosion has since been ruled out by authorities, with investigations now pointing towards the use of indoor pyrotechnics and also specifically cold pyro guns during a dance performance as a trigger for the blaze. Emergency response teams reached site after significant delay, reportedly struggling to access the club as fire engines had to be parked several hundred meters away due to narrow approach road, and also as investigations progressed, serious regulatory lapses emerged. Reports indicate that Goa Nightclub had no mandatory fire safety clearance and was operating without valid permissions. A demolition notice had reportedly been issued earlier by the local panchayat, citing illegal construction, but the establishment continued to function. Officials have confirmed that the structure violated basic building norms required for public assembly spaces. The nightclub's internal layout further worsened the situation. Narrow exits, inadequate ventilation and overcrowding during peak hours significantly limited evacuation options once the fire broke out. Survivors have since told the investigators that it took nearly 45 minutes for emergency services to arrive, a delay that likely contributed to the high number of fatalities, and authorities have arrested multiple individuals in connection with the incident. And a wider probe into the functioning of similar nightlife venues across Goa is now underway. Now, joining me on the telecast is Sandeep Singh, hospitality and F&B designer. Mr. Sandeep Singh, when we take a look at this incident and the fact that a lot of lapses have been exposed in terms of the interior and the architecture and the whole layout of the place, what is something that can be taken as a takeaway from this incident that one should not do? Because Goa is a kind of, especially when we're talking about this place, obviously the parking was one of the issues, that the lanes are very narrow, so evacuation will obviously be difficult. But this is something that is not new. This is something that was something that has been around for some time. So what exactly should be the takeaway, especially for people who are starting their own clubs or their own, especially in regions that has such level of tourism in places like Goa?
Hi, ma'am. So, regarding this incident, first of all, it was so unfortunate. New Year's coming, Goa is the only destination in India where everybody from every corner of the country comes. Uh, Regarding this, I will not give only one side of the situation. I'll give you both the sides of the thing. I am an interior designer and a restaurateur, so I see and understand both the side of the industry and how it goes. So first thing I will tell you is what should be done from the designer's perspective and the restaurant owner's perspective. Ma'am, because a restaurant is a business which is being done to earn money. So whenever a restaurateur or a businessman starts a restaurant, initially he wants to give the best in the thing. But moreover, because of the overhead expenses which are unforeseen and unfortunate from the government side, I mean, you understand that there is a lot of greasing of palms and many things that which are unsaid, and because of which there are expenses that are, and it is not a fixed one-time investment, it is a recurring expense. So what the restaurateur does is he misuses and takes the leverage, because of which many people's life come at stake. My point of view on this is that people, especially from being an architect and interior designer, I would say that people from my fraternity should take a stern stand and say no to all this kind of thing. I am surprised that I couldn't see any fire extinguisher there or a firefighting equipment there. And if they were placed, which were not visible in the videos, if they were placed, there was no person who was trained to use it. Neither the staff was trained to take those people out. I mean, when I design a place like this, when I design a F&B outlet or a hospitality outlet, my first focus is towards the safety of people, and my single rule is to evacuate a person to a safe place in 90 seconds, because those 90 seconds are the only time when the fire does not engulf as much, and which is a safe time to take the people out. But I can't see anything like this here. Moreover, there were many lags in the training part, the designing part. I couldn't see that there was any chemical used to fireproof the property. Nowadays, there are so many chemicals that are there in the market, which you can put even when you spray it on a paper, the paper cannot catch fire. But I can't understand why was it not used, and because if it had been used, that small pyros fire wouldn't have been able to put the thing in fire. So majorly, my only point is that people should put evacuation areas, the passages very seriously, because a person when he comes to a restaurant, he does not only comes there to drink and dine, he comes there to have an experience which should not take his life. They come at our responsibility as a restaurateur and a designer. It is our responsibility to make them go home back. Just for small greed or because of these malpractices from the government officials, these lives are at stake. I would always request my fellow designers to put their foot down and ask everybody that we will not do anything that is behind the law and which will take anybody's life. Thank you, ma'am.
And another question to you, Sandeep Singh, is they said that the structure was consisted of palm leaf temporary constructions and highly flammable materials. But in a place like Goa, there are a lot of other places that have palm leafy temporary constructions and shacks. So that's not exactly the call for, something like this to happen, obviously. So in terms of that, could you shed light on this so our viewers could exactly understand how this incident came into being?
Ma'am, first of all, it's not just Goa where you use any tropical place will have places where it would be greenery, dry leaves, sheds which are done by weeds and all. So, but everywhere else, the global standards are that you have to do a fireproof. There's a chemical which you spray on these things, these weeds and grasses, so that the fire does not catches. We have been doing this kind of treatments in our sites, and it was not just that. The major problem was the guests didn't lose their life, the staff did. The staff was in the basement, and there was no evacuation way from the basement. They were not, just because the staff was not going to pay them back, they have not taken care of them. It is simple. We have to consider the staff as the spine of the business, but they have not considered that. My primary point is that everyone involved in the outlet should be there to take care of everybody's life. Point number one, all the product used in the outlet should be fireproof. There are fire gradings at everything. Even the laminate that you used are fire grades, even the doors are fire grades, but they were obviously not used because they are expensive. Point number two was that the staff was not trained for the evacuation in case of any fire. Third was, ma'am, these kind of restaurants, they overtake the people. Like if my capacity is for 100 people, they take 200 to 300 people inside the place, and because of which the evacuation becomes difficult.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Sandeep Singh, thank you so much for your input. Obviously, several lapses have been exposed due to this incident, and this obviously highlights the fact that profit above people's life, because they're not thinking into and not taking into consideration that these lapses led to the death of at least 25 people. And especially during the time that Goa has a lot of tourism during this period, and this was something that could have been avoided.
Ma'am, I have one input in this.
Yeah. Go on, yes.
We actually, in India, businessmen are, they are the least protected people in the country, and that is why the ecosystem is going down. People in India are really scared of doing business in India. Why? Because if you see in this scenario only, who is being taken in captivity are the owners of the brand. People do not use logic at all. The people who have sold the brand, they are sitting there in Delhi, they have sold the brand, they are not operational partners of the property. They have just given their SOPs. Now to run those SOPs is the part of the people who are involved there, who are operationalizing the property and sitting there. So this is gone off the toss just because they are people who are talked about. They have some glamorous photos with glamorous shirts and t-shirts and glamorous cars. They will be taken in the custody because that it is just for the camera. Now the second point is, why are these people, the officials who have given these fire NOCs, why aren't they first taken into custody? Because these are the person who are actually responsible. If I am wrong, I want to do something, I am wrong, you are the official, you have the authority to put me and do not give me the license. How can I do the business without that license? So it is the officials who are at fault, and they should be first taken into custody, not the enterprise who are starting giving the franchise in Delhi.
All right, Sandeep Singh, thank you so much for your input. Obviously, interesting points that have been highlighted.